Do not love the world. Part 3. Symbols. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure all has been well, and if it hasn't, I pray in the name of Yahuah HaMashiach that things get better. Now, what do you know about symbols? As you can see by the objective on the screen, we'll be looking at and maybe even discussing a bit some of the world's favorite symbols and the secret meanings behind them, as well as their origins. Now, if you don't want your opinion on some of your favorite strangers ruined, then by all means, stop now. But if you would like to understand some of your favorite strangers, most popular poses, expressions, tattoos, and jewelry, then stick around. This is for you. When most people think of symbols, images like these probably come to mind. But, look at the screen. But, there's more to symbols than that. One definition of symbols is something that represents something else, especially a material object that represents something abstract. In this series, which I've released slowly and rather lazily, we have discussed the ways of this world and why we should not follow them. The next thing I want to discuss is celebrities, but we cannot discuss celebrities without touching upon symbols first. Otherwise, you guys will think I'm just, complaining about these people, but I'm not. I'm just not. Anyway, did you know that the people around us are using symbols whose meanings we don't know or understand? You or someone you love might be using symbols with sinister meanings. As I said before, in this video, we will take a look at some of the most commonly used symbols that secretly carry evil meanings, all of which are used by celebrities, as you'll see in the images. So, let's begin. 1. The OK hand sign, also known as the 666 sign. Have you ever seen someone do this? Have you ever done this? Many celebrities seem to like this sign, don't they? This hand gesture is commonly used to express approval or to say, "It's okay," without speaking. But that's not what it really means. This symbol also has deep pagan roots, as you can see. It's used in Buddhist worship. Now, I don't know if that's its origin, but I know that's certainly one of the older ways it was used. I mean, its origin, who knows? It could be, I don't know. It could be something deep and dark and scarier than we already know. But symbols don't stop meaning what they mean simply because we want to use them differently. This is the issue with words, too. Like, you can't just want a word to mean something different and start using it that way. I won't give an example now. We'll wait until we get into a series about this. But it's just annoying to me. I'm sorry. Anyway, I want to keep this short. So let's move on to our next symbol. One that both the old world and the new world seem to absolutely adore. What is the Ankh? Where does it come from? And what does it mean? We'll take a little look. The Ankh, or Key of Life, is an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol used to represent the word for life, and by extension, as a symbol of life itself. The Ankh has a T shape topped by a droplet-shaped loop. It's used in writing as a triliteral sign, representing a sequence of 3 consonants, which I won't attempt to pronounce. This sequence was found in several Egyptian words, including the terms for mirror, floral bouquet, and life. The symbol often appeared in Egyptian art as a physical object representing either life or related life-giving substances such as air or water, commonly depicted in the hands of ancient Egyptian deities, sometimes being given by them to the pharaoh. It represents their power to sustain life and to revive human souls in the afterlife. The Ankh was a widespread decorative motif in ancient Egypt, also used decoratively by neighboring cultures. Copts, C-O-P-T-S, not C-O-P-S, not Chief of Police's, adapted it into the crux ansata, a shape with a circular rather than droplet loop, and used it as a variant of the Christian cross. No comment. The ankh came into widespread use in Western culture in the 1960s, appearing as a symbol of African cultural identity, neo-pagan belief systems, and later the goth subculture. I'm just not going to comment too much. Let's just keep going. It just seems very pagan, and it's definitely not something that we, as worshippers of Yahuah, should support. But look at all the celebrities who do it. They even get tattoos. Next, peace sign, or Satan's horns as they're known. Don't be fooled by this one. It isn't the harmless sign everyone thinks it is. It doesn't signify victory, peace, or even the number 2. This sign represents the devil's horns. A discussion behind the history and meaning would be lovely, but I'm not even here to convince you not to use them right now, but rather to point out how many of the world's favorite people use them. In another video series, we'll discuss all that. We'll dive deeper. This next one shouldn't surprise anyone who's ever been to Spain. Most people think it's the I love you sign in American Sign Language. In reality, this sign is satanic. It is both a sign of a curse and a way for people to praise Satan, whether consciously or unconsciously. Most celebrities, if we're to judge by their actions and the fruit they produce, do not worship Yahuah. Let's just put it plainly. And if they're not worshiping Yahuah, for whom are they making these weird gestures? Decide for yourself. Definitely worth the Google. Anyway, this next symbol also has pagan origins and is very disturbing to look at, so viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, this one's just a bit more disturbing, seeing its obvious link to a Hindu death spirit. Let's read about this one because I see a lot of kids doing this, thinking that it's cute. Meanwhile, they're having some of the worst night terrors I've ever heard. Literally, I've never heard such things as they say. Let's start with the definition. Now, a lot of people like to use this word, thug, not knowing where it comes from. So we'll start with the definition rather than digging into the spirit itself because it's disturbing. Thuggy was a historic network of highway robbers and murderers in India whom British colonial authorities portrayed as a religious cult devoted to the Hindu goddess Kali. Modern historians show that this cult image was largely exaggerated, and the groups actually included both Hindus and Muslims operating as ordinary bandits. Now, you know people love to explain things away, and we do know that colonizers also love to exaggerate, but there's credence in this. For one, the mixed membership. Gangs included both Hindus and Muslims despite being linked to the Hindu goddess Kali. Criminals, not a sect. Modern research views them as ordinary highway robbers and criminal gangs rather than a unified religious fraternity. British influence. Colonial official William Sleeman popularized the idea of a religious cult to justify strict colonial control and police actions in the 19th century. Now, they're known to do that. But we also know that most, cult action happens in a way where it's hard to identify and it's hard to call it what it is without people taking offense or claiming that it's crazy. Origins of the legend. The Kali connection. Legends claim members strangled victims with clothes as a sacrifice to please Kali. The word thug, the English word thug, comes from the Hindi Sanskrit root for deceive. Now, it seems far-fetched, and maybe a connection's not been made in your mind yet. But think. This blue, or sometimes black figure is Kali. In Hinduism, she represents darkness, destruction, and death. It's hard to explain, so I won't, but the spirit works through people to cause and aid evil. This face is her calling card, sort of. And the evil actions described a few seconds ago are her offerings, and thugs/thuggy are her followers. So, maybe reconsider before you think to make such a face. Listen to music that promotes such crimes and lifestyles, and call yourself a name that you don't know the origins of. Just maybe think. Literally, what this symbol stands for and who it gives worship to is abominable. Why would anyone want to imitate it? Anyway, let's move on. another eye symbol. They call it the all-seeing eye, the Greek eye, evil eye, eye of Horus, sometimes also called the eye of providence. Let me just say, these eyes look like the eyes of the Watchers. You know, like the ones who were imprisoned. If I'm remembering correctly, one of them did teach enchantments, and another taught the smiting of spirits. This little symbol is supposed to ward off evil spirits, which is funny considering that the children of Watchers became this exactly. Anyway, these are evil occult symbols that represent Satan. We must not use them, any of them. We must not use items bearing them or admire the people who wear them. No, we have to be more careful. Let's see. Be not deceived. Yahuah is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. We must not tolerate evil, or those who delight in evil, or even symbols that represent evil. But until next time, Hallelujah.